5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live.
We're here.
Hi, everybody.
Wow.
Welcome to PTZOptics Live. We are just beginning an exciting show today with Wirecast.
Yes, we have Wirecast with us, but really quickly, let me give you a brief of the show today. Wirecast, if you didn't know, it has released 9.0, I guess. I think it's 9.0.1 potentially. But we have with us Andrew Haley from Wirecast and his producer, Deborah Lee. And you might have heard them a little bit from via audio, but
Yeah, sorry we blew you guys out there. I don't know exactly what happened. We must have had that input turned all the way up. Sorry about that.
We're going to show you guys pan-tilt zoom control built into Wirecast, a feature that I know so many of you have been requesting. And I have to let you guys know that my hat is off to Wirecast and the developers for creating a really great integration. So let me briefly tell you guys about the show today. So we're going to go over Wirecast 9 and the PTZ integration. We are going to show you a little bit about xKeys and the new xKeys from Wirecast that are built for the Wirecast Gear that we really want to show off. Andrew Haley's here. Here's a picture of us from the 2018 NAB Show.
Whoop, whoop.
Couple other announcements coming up you may or may not have heard. The streaming awards are going to be soon. June 1st is when the awards actually are, but voting is now open. So after the show, head to streamingawards.com to vote for your favorite live streamer. If you're watching us from Twitch today, we have some exciting news. We just got emoji integration started, so we get to make some custom emojis. Please send us your ideas for custom emojis. One you can use is this savage emoji. And finally, a special shout out to our streamer spotlight this week, Ken Benedict, with his travel case specifically made for his PTZOptics cameras. Kick butt shot. Thank you for sharing. So let's get started talking about Wirecast 9. Really excited for the latest version of Wirecast, but one in particular feature is really standing out to us.
So all this and more will be coming up next.
You're watching PTZOptics Live, a high-definition broadcast available on YouTube and Facebook Live every Friday, streaming at 11 a.m.
Is it the two-factor thing,
Eastern.
Michael?
Broadcast quality made affordable. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, let's cut. All right, so let's introduce our guest. But actually, before we do, I wanted to show a quick clip from the 2018 NAB show where we take you into, this was when it was in beta actually, show you guys what the software looks like and from the show floor.
Hey everybody, Paul Richards here with the 2018 NAB show, and now we're at the front of our booth, and I want to show you our Wirecast Gear setup. This is the brand new Wirecast 9.1 beta actually. We are showing pan-tilt zoom control with the PTZOptics cameras over IP. Let me show you how this works. Most of you are probably familiar with the Wirecast interface. What we have here is now an option to have an optional IP joystick controller. It's got some great features here. As you can see, I can zoom the camera in and out, which is great. I can pan, tilt, and zoom. And what this allows you to do, I'll go into a little bit of the details, but it allows a single video production operator to not only control multiple cameras, but do all the streaming and switching with a single piece of software. Crazy. Wirecast works on Windows or Mac. We're showing the Wirecast Gear here, which has 5 SDI inputs. The new one works great with the PTZOptics cameras. And over a local area network, using just the Ethernet port of our cameras, you can actually bring in the cameras via the NewTek NDI and power the cameras over PoE and control them. Some of the great control options they've built in here is we have an analog pad, we have a D-pad, which is one of my favorites here, which actually gives us the ability to have keyboards, so up, down, left, right controls. And then the other thing that Wirecast has done is they've actually given us the ability to have presets per video here. So each space can have its own preset, its own picture. So now you can just look at the little pictures in Wirecast click a button, and the camera will go right there. So this is really some of the most amazing stuff we've been seeing at NAB. PTZ Control officially available via Wirecast. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Check out our other 2018 NAB shows. Don't forget to like and share this video with somebody who uses Wirecast, because this is some cool new stuff. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, so without further ado, I would love to introduce our guest, Andrew Haley. Andrew, how you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going good.
Great.
Fully recovered from NAB?
Yeah, I think I'm just finally back to normal. Of course, my kids have totally now completely disrupted any sleep schedule I have anyway, so I'm not sure what the normal is now.
Right?
Yeah. Is
Neither.
that on your shirt? Does that say 20 years? Is that for Wirecast or is that for Telestream?
That's Telestream, yeah. 20-year anniversary
Wow.
this year.
That
That's
may be
awesome.
in the quiz, guys. There's a quiz coming up.
Yeah, we're
later
almost
today.
old enough to drink.
Almost old enough
And
to
where are you
drink.
guys located, Andrew?
We are in California on the West Coast. We are in the foothills, Gold Rush country, about 20 minutes from where they discovered gold in 1847, 1848, and the whole gold rush started. So
Wow.
we're up in the foothills in the mountains.
Also might be in the quiz later.
So you guys go hiking every weekend looking for remnants of gold, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of old mine shafts around here. Like a lot of like part-timers will go up and still look or pan. There's even a few active like claim sites that people are still working, more as a hobby. But yeah, it's cool. And then we're about an hour from Lake Tahoe, which is amazing, and the ski slopes up there. And then we're about maybe 2.5, 3 hours from the coast.
That's a nice spot to be. It's kind of like us living in Philadelphia. We're close enough to the Jersey Shore, but also close enough to the Poconos. So it's kind of a similar
Totally.
idea there. Yeah, so Wirecast 9, we got to play with the beta version at NAB, but now it's officially been released. How's that been going for you guys? A lot of hype there?
Yeah, it's been good. So one thing that's really interesting about this is that I think everybody thought, like, we're so trained over the last few years that Wirecast, like a massive version with like 20 new features, drops like every year and a half. But we've left those days behind us. So from moving forward, starting with Wirecast 8, that was really the last huge feature release that we are going to do. From this point forward, we'll just be rolling out 1 to 2, 3 features as we go every couple months. So you'll see more major upgrade versions, following, but they just won't have quite the same impact as maybe a Wirecast 8 or Wirecast 7. Now it's really just to get on board as a platform. It's a developing, evolving, growing platform. We've got hardware, we've got software, we've got mobile, and pretty soon we even talked a little bit about NAB, some cloud services and things like that. So yeah, it's a new era for Wirecast, and we're really moving into the age where it's just going to be a subscription for you to stay current, like about $8 a month, $99 a year, and you'll always have access to the latest software.
Wow, and you mentioned some of the new things at NAB. Do you want to just bring us up to speed for some people who might not have been able to go to NAB of what were the new releases from Telestream or maybe Wirecast specifically?
Yeah, so at NAB, we were doing a beta. So as you know, with betas, you guys, like, not everything makes it into the final release version. So we were showing some stuff that actually we held back for the full public release of Wirecast 9. You'll see that stuff coming soon. And that's really around the cloud services that I mentioned. So that stuff's going to be really exciting. You'll see some buzz when we're ready to announce that and make it publicly available. In the meantime, the features that did make it in, and the reason we're on the show today, which is my favorite new feature in Wirecast, which is the PTZ Controller. It is so cool. I had so much fun playing around with it at NAB. We did a great little kind of show about it. We talked about the xKeys controller. We got a little bit into the PTZ stuff, but most of that stuff was on the back end of your booth, and it was hard to kind of talk about that in the moment live like we can do today.
Right.
And it's awesome. Like, you were the first camera we wanted to work with and do a really deep integration with, because we know how popular your cameras are, how amazing they are, and they just seem to be everywhere in the live streaming community. So it was a natural choice to go with you guys as the launch partner for this new built-in control. window and schema.
Well, thank you for thinking of us too, because we love our relationship, and this partnership is going really smooth, and we're excited for this new feature.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more coming out, and hopefully, what I'm really looking forward to is I've got some videos that I'm about to release. So really diving into the cameras and talking about how to set them up for the first time, how to make them operate smoothly with Wirecast. And then as I get a little bit more proficient, I'll probably put out some videos about updating to NDI and kind of doing a combo and that sort of thing. Right now, the cameras are just controlled through the Visca over IP method. So that's something you guys already shipped with, for years, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the implementation is really advanced. There's a lot of settings that you can control right in Wirecast. You may not ever need to even use an IR remote, essentially.
Yeah, Chris is new to Wirecast and wants to know. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
He wanted to know how your trial version works with Wirecast.
And if you wanna take the questions at the end, feel free, Andrew. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. If you want to drop them in, I'm totally whatever. This is your show, so you guys make the calls. So the trial version of Wirecast, there's a couple different ones. The one that we do on the site is basically it's a free to download. Like you just go to the software, get it, go to our site, telestream.net, download it, and then it's basically got all the features in the software, and then you can check them out, you can train them, you can set up your cameras, your capture cards, you can test everything, make sure it works. We're not really holding much back. I think there's one or two things that we had to gate and because there was an issue with that. But other than that, it just puts a watermark on when you go live every 30 seconds. So if you start using the live window, with the actual final output window, you'll just get this kind of annoying watermark that pops in and out every 30 seconds. But that's the limit of how we gate the software. And so it's an expensive purchase. So we want you to have access to it prior to buying. So you have time to kick it around, get used to it, set up ask us questions, and set up the equipment that you might want to set up. One thing that's really difficult about our live streaming space is that everybody's studio and workflow and equipment is different. So we can't always tell you exactly how to set things up or what is going to work best for your situation or your budget. So that's why we always have made a policy to make the software available for anyone who wants to try it.
Yeah, I love how you can just download it right away and get started. So we showed a video earlier where I was taking people through a little bit of the interface of the PTZ controller. We have it set up here, Andrew, but I think you have it set up too. Would you like us to do a quick demo so we can kind of dig it into the software, or?
I would. I was kind of scrambling this morning, just making sure that you would have audio and video through the call connection. So I didn't get more than a few minutes to try to troubleshoot. I did a demo with the camera and a little while ago, like maybe last week, and I haven't been back to check it. And it looks like for some reason the camera's not connecting over IP. So I just need to figure out maybe go to the switch, and I can't do that. So I can do it with I can do some cool shots of the camera. You want to see this real fast? I've got the camera right here, and I can point it at
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, see, there we go. So I can use the IR remote. One thing that's kind of neat, though, we will be installing this guy, and Paul, I talked to you about this, in the studio. This will be a permanent fixture of the studio and a camera angle that Deborah Lee and anybody will be able to use in any of our demos. And it's actually going to go up on our ceiling. And actually, maybe, Deborah Lee, if you can go to my screen, I will show where it's going to go here. So this is our studio, and I'm going to jump in here, and there, see that projector up there? I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on, I hit the home button. I'm sorry, I'm messing this up. You see that that projector up there? That is a projector we used to use as our confidence monitor. And let me do a zoom here. This guy is like, it's too loud. It's got like a fan, and it's not good for a confidence monitor. So I'll be actually hanging the camera right there, and it'll be kind of our overhead camera studio shot.
Okay,
so that's
so you
the
already
plan.
have
this camera's going to go right there.
So you've already got a 1-inch pole secured to the superstructure of your building there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that pole is going to work because it was specific for the projector. So I think it's just to be safe, we're going to go with the PTZOptics system and do a little kind of install demo video of how we installed it in our studio.
Christopher says he didn't see
awesome.
the network lights on the back of the camera. Maybe it's not plugged in at the other end.
That is a possibility, although it
We're
looks
always
like the
troubleshooting
big
with
blue
our audience.
cable.
So
I like that. I
Yeah,
like
they-
that.
they love
Your audience is really
troubleshooting.
good. So it looks like it's end to end, but yeah, when I ping the
Who the heck
IP
knows?
address, it's telling me that there's no response at that IP address. I've tried resetting it a couple times, but I think I just got to get it on a different subnet and then jump it back, and it'll kind of rejog it.
All right. Well, luckily, I mean, so we already have it set up right here. Michael, why don't you go ahead and pull up our shot here? And Tess has her Telestrator, which she can use. And I just kind of wanted to go down each feature with you, Andrew, and just kind of dig into it a little bit. So at the top here, you can see that we have the IP address. So
Yes.
we just go ahead and pop in the IP address. So everything's over the network. And it's already kind of configured for you with the port and the Visca address.
Oh, this is
So
gross.
once that's done, and you can reconnect right there, it says connected. So that's where we know, all right, this is connected. It's all set. And then we can actually control the camera in a couple different options. And I love that you guys are giving everyone different
my goodness.
options. Because we have a map option.
I'm done with this. I can't. This thing is never working right for me.
It's okay. The Telestrator.
The Telestrator, you're doing it's good.
You're
I like
doing okay.
I'm trying to make a circle around.
It's okay.
the thing.
Why don't here use this feature? This one's a little better. You can just go like whoop, like that kind of.
All right, let's circle.
She has
around.
to-
I
This
was
is where we're
watching you guys
looking,
use-
folks.
There we go. I like it.
So, the map feature I like a lot because it shows you can see it kind of like you can kind of choose if you know like visually if you know where on the map you want the camera to go. It's quite nice. But the other one I really like is the D-pad.
This is kind of the
because
one we're familiar with.
you can see here that I'm just using my keyboard.
Love that.
So
Well, and you can use your keyboard in any one of the three. So even if you have the map, you can
really?
still use your keyboard. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought
So
that
jump over to the
keyboard-
map real fast.
Okay.
Jump over the map and then, and still use the keys.
Ah. And
So
I just
the keys
like
are
the
always
map.
active. Yeah, so the map is cool. It was an innovation from our engineers, and they basically represented. I mean, your cameras can go almost 360 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Like from, so how do you represent 360 degrees in like a kind of a simple UI setup or grid that would work for maybe multiple different types of cameras? So this was kind of the solution, was to come up with this grid view, but it actually from end to end is roughly a 360 degree spectrum.
So you just click
from
on
side
it.
to
So
side,
like if I click all the way over here, the camera just goes all the way to the other side.
to its upper
Wow.
left and right. Yeah, so that should be the max
Ah.
end of that camera's range and rotation.
I'll tell you what, though, my favorite one is the analog one, and this is gonna
Yeah, I was
be
gonna
what
say I think
everybody
I
likes.
prefer the analog, like, because I can actually click and drag in there and do what we were talking about, kind of do a poor man's joystick.
Yeah, everybody is always requesting controllers that can pan and tilt at the same
Analog. You like
time.
the analog?
And
yeah.
with the analog
Mhm.
pad, you can do that.
Yeah, I do like that. So it's totally
Yeah, I
directional.
think I've been digging that. Totally.
And
And
the
you can do the
D-pad
same thing
still
with your arrow
works.
keys if you
Yeah.
punch left and right at the same, or sorry, up and left at the same time, or down and right at
Wow,
the same
didn't
time.
know that either.
I didn't know that. Very nice.
See, I like that.
Yeah, because the directional can save a lot of time. Very nice.
Yeah,
You can also
And it's- I mean,
set your
this-
focus.
totally. And then save it all as a preset, and then Wirecast will, tell the camera to save that preset in its memory.
Yeah, and let's set a preset in just a moment because I want to show that. But I guess just going downward, one of the things that, and this is I was really surprised that you guys had this because not everyone else does, is the ability to do manual focus and then just have the ability to turn it back to auto, which I really
Mhm.
like.
Autofocus.
And lock it and all that stuff.
and lock it right in. And then this next one here, what this is.
Just to explain that, if the yellow box is on, like in that middle, the plus and minus button there, test where you circled, that yellow box means this focus is now locked. If you uncheck it, it'll go back basically kind of into the auto mode.
The auto, yeah. And then this next area, which again is just, you don't see this in all the other platforms and applications, is the ability to go from, right now it's in manual mode, which we like, to be honest, because manual mode gives you the best control of shutter and iris. If you go to auto mode, it will automatically choose shutter speed and iris, and therefore the manual settings you can't use. And then there's shutter speed and iris priority. So shutter speed priority allows you to change the shutter speed, and automatically it'll prioritize your shutter speed based on the iris, and then the exact opposite, iris priority, and then there's a brightness mode. And then you even went as deep as to allow the operators to change the white balance settings.
Right, the in-camera white balance, like default modes.
Camera. We liked it.
Yeah, because we were having a little bit of an issue with, like, I think it was on maybe like indoor, and you'll see it turns all blue. Now, I actually really like these sliders, because for someone who knows what they're doing, they can change those when it's in manual mode. Again, it has to be in manual to do. Some of these settings are there, but they're only accessible when they're in the right camera mode. Like, for example, one shot, which is something we're actually working on a video on. And what that does is if you zoom into like a white card, I actually haven't seen this work, but I'm sure it does. If you zoom into like a white card and you hit one shot, it will white balance to that white card. And now look how nice the white balance looks.
That's perfect.
And then there's red and green.
So, I mean, so what you're showing there is a lot of work, obviously, from the engineering team, but also a lot of thoughtful work in terms of, will this controller not only provide access to all the amazing things and features and settings your cameras allow, but also serve for, whatever other cameras that the user might plug in. So this has to kind of strike a balance between, being a controller that anyone can use with almost any camera, even if the camera doesn't offer that many sort of deep settings, and then at the same time really allow them to dive in and take advantage of the ones that, thoughtful manufacturers provide.
Yeah, it's so nice. We're running out of time. We'll skip over the presets, which I know a lot of people understand. Basically, you can set a preset and then you can recall them. And then we showed this in the video earlier, where you can actually have a preset be a shot inside of Wirecast. Maybe, Andrew, usually we switch to Twitch after 20 minutes just to keep our content short and concise. But do you want to explain how that process works briefly?
Yeah, so what you're doing is, once you've set the shot or the angle, you've zoomed in, you've set your white balance, you've set your focus, shutter speed, whatever it is that you want, and then you save that as the preset number 1, that is now linked to that shot on your timeline. But then if you want to then duplicate that shot, and we'll just duplicate it, you could have a same copy of the same camera pointed at another spot, and then if we just jump down, you can actually save a new preset. So now you zoom it to another area, and you just click this enable preset option here, and you check that, and you choose the preset you want to be associated with that thumbnail on your timeline. So now every time you jump back and forth between the two, the camera will jump back and forth between the two presets. And if my camera was hooked up, that's what it would be doing. So you're saving presets to basically layer shots in Wirecast. So it's the same way you've always used Wirecast, but now you just add the same camera 4, 5, 10 different times, but just quietly change a preset. And of course, you can always save a custom thumbnail to each shot, so you always remember what the angle was.
Yes, that is one of my favorite features. So I know we're getting a lot of questions in the chat test, so let's save them for Twitch. Alrighty. And if you don't mind hanging out with us for a little longer, Andrew, we can answer some questions. We're going to switch to Twitch, if that's okay.
We're going to dive into trivia and a giveaway.
We have trivia and a giveaway. So we've got a Wirecast trivia today, so we'll test all of your knowledge on what you learned today, and we'll see you guys in the post show. Thanks for watching.
Guys so
we'll
much
see
for
you guys
watching.
soon.
See ya.
That means that extra.